be a appointee to the Mount Pleasant Regional Airport Authority. There's three authority members, and I've got sort of a mixed bag tonight because the reason I'm here is I want to lift up Justin Robinette, who served on the Airport Authority for many years. He brought a lot to the table, but he decided it was time to move on to other things. So that brings me to the reason that I'm here tonight. And I did talk to Mayor White about this before I came up here. He admonished me not to bring up some of the things that we had gotten into when I first met him 40
Yes.
years ago.
Please.
So I'm not going to bring those up.
No.
I'm new to the town virtually, so I'm kind of 6 years, so there's lots of stuff I don't know.
We can talk later. But Bill was one of the first people that I met when I moved here in 1984. And since I'm still an interloper for the most part, Bill exemplifies the quality of people that live not only just in the county, but even here in Mount Pleasant. I worked here in Mount Pleasant for 11 years, and this is a country of its own, let me just say that. So, because of that, Bill, the Airport Authority, is one of the commissioners. I think that the Airport Authority will be well served to have Bill White to be the Mount Pleasant representative to the Airport Authority. I also have a letter from the third Airport Authority member, Tom Apker, who is appointed by the county, attesting to this same request that we proposed Bill White to be the third member of the Airport Authority. The only challenge Bill's going to have initially is one of the flight instructors wants to take Bill up and put him behind the yoke to make sure that he does have some experience in
I think
aviation.
that'd be important.
There's a little bit of a training learning curve with it.
You
Any
gotta
questions?
I don't think I'd want to be on the ground around it.
Yes, sir.
I guess I do, which Mayor, congratulations to. But I mean, I guess, you hear rumors on the street. So if you're saying Justin is a good person, everything, why would he not be still on the board?
He wanted to move on to other things.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, when he said at the meetings, he's an operations guy. He brings a lot to the table when it comes to stuff like that. That was the part that I appreciated to the table. But, things have happened in his business and things have just,
And that's fine. I mean, you just know how, I guess, how things can get on the street, but I just want,
on behalf of the authority, I wanted to recognize
Right.
him for his service as much as anything.
I guess one thing, I guess while you're here, which you can answer, probably could answer anyway. But I guess like the Prairie Regional Airport brings in $14 million a year to
Yes, sir.
the area. And I tried to look, but what does it, I mean, I see a little bit of it, but exactly Mount Pleasant get any revenue from that?
Those are Tennessee state figures. They do that for every airport, GA airport. You can look up every airport in the state. I too wonder where they get that data. I just saw in the newspaper today where the Federal Department of Agriculture is having trouble determining the crop production. How they get that, I can't imagine. So I can't answer that question.
I could probably answer a little of it. Like what that does is when those taxes are paid, it goes to the state for it to step in anytime. And then it's divided back out to Mount Pleasant, Murray County, and Columbia, Tennessee. Through the state coffers, it comes back to the city. And is it 30?
Yeah, so
For just
gas
the
that
fuel.
they sell back on the tax that gas that is an our city limit, gas station, gas tax. They just like
understand, you know, the sales tax from stores and everything. I was just
It comes from the fuel.
comes
Their
from the-
fuel sales would, same way they have to pay. Does with-
Do we get $1 million out of that
So-
14 million, or
No.
is it down to $100
No.
out of that 14?
It was so much per,
So I can explain it if you want me to.
Yeah.
It's a state shared revenue that we every year.
That's-
Yeah,
state
I
share,
see the
right.
state revenue, but I see that 100 and something, but is that,
30 some of it.
So we get $180 per person off of state shared revenue. That's a lot of mixes in there of those. In there's a breakdown of that 180, $36 per person based off your census number. The 36 times 5296 is what we get per year. Honestly,
but it's not, I guess when I look at the state street aid, it doesn't maybe necessarily show that 6,000 or 5,000 or whatever, you know, that you add to it or whatever. I only see that number, I guess, is,
So on our state street aid,
yes,
that's where all of our gas tax budget. That is all we budget in gas. That is not all, because of all gas that is. $14 million number that I would say state governments come up with it. Not only are we paying taxes, every business in our city limits is paying their taxes and reporting their revenues to the Tennessee Department of Revenue. When they look at those numbers, they can easily say, okay, anybody in this zip code, this much in taxes, this much in revenue. So overall, they probably have obviously ways to, they get so much data from every zip code, what every business does. Or they have to pay. So.
you're good, I'm still lost.
so let me, can I,
Every zip code, they
let me,
know
can I,
how-
I'm still, I guess, you know, when you say $14 million, you know, that the airport is bringing
They're
in,
just looking at all the
you know, how much,
infrastructure around
how much
us.
of that
let me finish
14
what I
million?
was on
Yeah,
there. So
thank you.
look at it like this. You know, if we sell $1 worth of fuel in this city, or we sell 14 million, we're gonna get $190,000 a year for fuel and those taxes back to us. Now, I would agree 100%. The indirect revenue from the benefits of the airport, you can't. It's hard to quantify that, but it's there, without a doubt, right?
Right.
But when we talk about fuel taxes and all that, we get $190,656
We'll
a year.
get the same.
And it's restricted.
Well, I just have a better
You
figure.
know,
I just say, you know,
I don't
I'm getting
like taxes any more
190,000
than
from
the next person.
Now you got
out of
a
that
number.
14.
Now you got a
But I would
That
say-
sounds better.
That airport, when you consider people that come in here and spend the night, there's some hotel motel
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah.
There's gonna be restaurant tax.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
gonna
I
be
understand all
retail
that.
sales tax. I would imagine, yeah, people coming into town, they're gonna spend enough to generate 7 million just in sales tax revenue. Not only for the local municipalities, but for the state as well. So it's probably even underestimated.
It's the economic impact estimate.
Yeah, that's what they're basing it off of, the economic impact.
And thank you for bringing that up, because I was in a meeting earlier today with Will Evans, the director of the Missouri Alliance. He, approached me and he said, we're real excited about this airport. And they're recruiting businesses. They've got a world-class, we probably have the nicest general aviation airport in the state right. Once we get some furniture in there, get a conference room, that's going to be impressive. They're going to look at this and these people. So 14 million might just be.
Well, I seen something, you know, was 3 million.
They printed that too. I saw that.
There you go.
Any questions for Greg? Greg, thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, Greg.
Enjoy your
Thank
dinner.
y'all. I would stay. I always enjoy these meetings. But my double first cousin is meeting me over at the grill tonight, and I'll be thinking about y'all.
We'd be over
Thank
to
you,
eat.
Bill.
Yeah,
You paying?
you go ahead and leave them 100.
Yeah, we'd be over to eat.
I'll buy y'all a drink if you want to come over.
Okay.
It's still there after the meeting. Thank y'all.
Thank
We're
you,
going to
Greg.
watch races. There's
Yeah,
some
I'm going to
races.
watch a race. what I'm going to do. Main Street presentation. Caroline?
How are y'all doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Caroline Rash. I'm the director of the Main Street Forward Foundation, or the Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation, excuse me. And I just wanted to give you an update on what we're doing. We've changed some things this year, and it's really exciting. And I just wanted to give a really brief presentation on what exactly it is that we do, because there's often questions around. So I'm going to talk about who we were, I'm going to talk about who we are now, and then what we plan to be long term. We can go to the next slide, please. So who we were, you may have heard of Main Street Mount Pleasant. That is what we were doing business as. We've been the Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation this whole time, doing business as Main Street Pleasant. So we got that designation in 2020, and that was operating within the framework of Main Street America, which is a national organization. They have very specific rules and regulations on how things are done in Main Street America. So they have a 4-point model that bases everything you do on design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. You have a small footprint that you're working within. So for us, it's just our, small historic downtown area was our place. That's where we could work and operate within. They also have requirements as far as your board structure. They have a lot of reporting requirements as far as business mix, what you have in your buildings, what type of buildings you have, that sort of thing, which was fairly invasive. I'll be fair about that. They also have just a lot of governance requirements set at the state level and the national level. There were also a lot of dues being paid into that, as well as quite a bit of travel to conferences required throughout the year to maintain your accreditation. And they really ask that you use Main Street branding on everything you do. So that's the gist of Main Street America, and we were a Tennessee Main Street, much like Columbia has a Main Street. So now, as of December 2025, we voted, me and my board of directors voted to transition to just being the Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation and leaving Main Street. And there were a lot of reasons for this. So our plan is to be an independent local nonprofit that serves all of Mount Pleasant, not just our downtown. We have a lot to offer in Mount Pleasant, and we have a fabulous historic downtown that we will certainly be leaning into and loving on, and so many small business owners here. But we also have farms and industries and a lot of important things that need attention and need eyes on them. So we will be a locally governed board with the flexibility to adapt to community needs. So without more of the restrictive nature of a national program, we can do things Mount Pleasant's way. So our mission statement is to grow a connected Mount Pleasant by supporting local businesses, building community pride, preserving history, and welcoming visitors to experience our town. So we want to support local businesses, industries, and farms, regardless of their location within Mount Pleasant. This way, we can also partner with our schools, the library, civic organizations, and other nonprofits, so we can have a lot more connection within our community. We want to represent Mount Pleasant as a complete community and not just a historic downtown district, because there's a lot going on outside of that. And we want to keep the community engaged and unified. We want our residents' voices to be at the forefront. We always want to be listening to the needs of our town and addressing those without restraint. We can move to the next slide, please. Okay, so this is just the plan on who we want to be long term. We want Mount Pleasant to be a thriving and connected home. We really want to focus on tourism. Tourism supports economic vitality and downtown sustainability and historic preservation. So when it does come to our historic downtown, it's really important to get dollars from surrounding counties and surrounding towns spent here in our downtown. People coming for the day, people coming for the afternoon, buses coming in with seniors, kids coming in. It's just important to get people here spending their money in Mount Pleasant. And industries and businesses will be given meaningful ways to participate. They have a little bit more buy-in into the community if we are focused on them too, and not just our historic downtown. And community engagement gives locals a pride of place and a sense of connection. I want everybody who lives in Mount Pleasant to be so proud that they live here. And having events that are family friendly, having eyes on us, having spotlights on our town and our farms and our industries and what we have to offer just lifts everybody up. So ultimately, we want to prioritize action over jargon and results over process. That was a huge part of why we voted on this. We want to be able to get to work, roll our sleeves up without having to go through a lot of bureaucracy and red tape in order to do that. We want to have the freedom to execute what works for Mount Pleasant and not just what fits a national template. Everybody knows Mount Pleasant, it's got its own unique heartbeat, and we want to really lean into that and not try to wedge it into a different template. So we want to keep Mount Pleasant's growth intentional and communicated, not overmanaged. I don't ever want to tell a building owner downtown what I really think they should put in their building. That's their choice. And I want to encourage what we do have, really own what we do have and love on what we do have here. And it also just avoids the need for the city to have to dedicate additional resources to fund and manage a tourism department, which I think is huge because I think it's something we need, the tourism focus, but we can do that independently without putting that major financial strain on the city as far as a full-time hire or a full-time department. So that is my presentation on the Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation, and I'm an open book. So if you have any questions or you want to grab me after,
I'll give you one right here.
please.
I guess for a grocery store,
Mhm.
do y'all have the ability to look out and bring something else in this area? Or,
That's a part of more of the long-term plan is like business recruitment into our town. I think first we're kind of leaning into what we have right now. I don't think we necessarily have the, I don't know that we have the resources right now to do a lot of business recruitment. However, I will say I personally was involved in recruiting several of the shops that are downtown now, one of them being my husband. I will say he's the owner of Golden Boy Goods. Very proud of him. But I think that our excitement and our passion about Mount Pleasant excites other people and gets people to want to come here. At least that's been my experience since I joined this role. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Caroline?
Thank you. That was really well done.
Hey, for everybody's information, I got some stuff and I'll make a cleaner copy of it for you that Caroline forwarded me. And it's a list of events that are tentative, I'll call it for right now.
Yes.
Caroline and I met yesterday and I'm excited about what she's talking about doing. Each month has 5 or 6 events now. And it's not gonna just be focused only on downtown
Right.
anymore. It's about getting out and getting
Right.
the other industries that are here,
The library.
the
very
library,
important
a lot of
place
things to
Mhm.
start donating to this Mike versus 2
What we
people.
had.
Yes.
It's a lot better.
Yeah. Willie, anything you want to add? You're on the board?
Mhm.
I'm on the board. I just like the way we're moving now. We're going in a different direction, and I think this direction is better for Mount Pleasant. And where we were just stuck in a box and we couldn't do nothing.
Mhm.
So I think all business need to be known about.
And one of the questions, one of the main questions I get is, will I still be able to apply for grants? You know, not being a accredited Main Street. Yes, I'm still a 501c3. That is what we're designated as. I can still apply for grants. I just have to do that homework myself. And I'm getting connected with Murray County Tourism and Tourism in Columbia. Like as much tourism resources as I can get, I'm getting plugged into that so that I can stay informed on what's available to us.
you need somebody to help you with the grant, get with him.
Ever since I moved here, I actually have Mike Green made up some decals that say "I love." He put MT Pleasant, and I'm like, no, it has to be Mount. But
Yeah.
I've always sort of envisioned this thing, you know, where people are proud to have stickers on their cars or on their, you know, on their, or wear a Mount Pleasant T-shirt. That's not just the Tigers, but
Right.
you know, I mean, just being proud to be in the city, and
Yeah.
and I think it's really wonderful because it is very restrictive, and I know a lot of work went into doing that.
Right. Of course.
But we got a much bigger city than 2
Mhm.
blocks.
Right.
And it's something that if in the future, you know, we grew large enough to where it made sense, we could rejoin. It's not a closed door forever. We could rejoin Main Street in the future. So that's always open to us.
Good job.
Thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you, Caroline.
questions for Caroline?
I guess before, so Main Street,
Mhm.
I guess, was that more of,
It was 2 blocks. a block and a half.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even down to Pizza Place. It was like, it was a very small district, like from,
Bond.
yes, from Bond down to First, I think is right.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Is the
I can't
Main
remember
Street
those.
program connected to the historic zoning?
They provide resources to connect you with historic zoning resources, but those again are things that I can act. I have a
Okay.
good relationship with some Tennessee Main Street directors who can help me when I need.
So it won't affect their historic zoning control or anything like that?
All right. No other
Thank you.
questions for
Good
Caroline?
job.
Caroline,
I appreciate
thank
y'all.
you.
Have a good night.
Too. Al, Mount Pleasant Power System.
That's on this board too.
Good evening. Have to answer my question.
I know.
Now you want money.
I want money now.
I'm Al Kirstein, the General Manager of the Mount Pleasant Power System. Good evening to you all. Just wanted to talk a few moments about a project that we've had in our 5-year capital expenditure plan, and we're working towards. It's to build a new delivery point substation in the south end of our system. We serve, all of Mount Pleasant, part of Hampshire, down to Summertown, Rockdale, Sandy Hook, parts of Lewis County. But there's a TVA transmission line that crosses Highway 20 down in the Summertown area, and we're looking at building a new substation delivery point there. We already own the property. So the reason we're coming to you tonight is in January, the board passed a recommendation to you all to pass a reimbursement resolution. And the reimbursement resolution would be for a bond issue. The bond issue would be for $6 million to build this delivery point substation and the lines coming out of it. A reimbursement resolution is just that. Basically, this project is going to take a couple years to build. We have to do engineering, we have to put down deposits on transformers, things like that incur costs. We will pay that out of cash. And then when we do a bond issue later this year, probably we're dealing with Julianne Graham, who does the bonds for the cities, for the city, and she does an excellent job. She's recommending to us to wait and look at the market because we have time. And so the bond issue would be later this year. The reimbursement resolution just says that any cash that we spend between now and that bond issue, we can reimburse that out of the funds from the bonds. That's all, and basically all it does. So the resolution will not authorize those bonds. The power system will have to come back to the city at a later date to get that approved. And we definitely do. Obviously, if we get into doing engineering and the cost of the project skyrockets and it's not in our expenditures, then we will postpone that project. But at this point in time, we do have good estimates and we do feel comfortable about the project. The project will obviously add another delivery point. Mount Pleasant currently is served from one delivery point. We have 3 substations, but it all comes from Mount Joy substation out here on Mount Joy Road. And so this would actually provide a second delivery point for our system and be able to put, this will not only serve the south end of our system, but will provide backup to parts of Mount Pleasant as well. So we're excited about it. But as far as our debt, we're currently at 2.6 million. So we'll pay that down to about 2 million before we actually get the bonds because we've got a principal payment to make this spring. And then that'll push our indebtedness up to about 8 million, which currently our debt service ratio is 3.9. It'll go to about 3.3, and TVA, who regulates us, says we can't go below 1.5. So we've got a lot of margin there. And basically our debt service would remain roughly steady because in 2027, part of our bonds are basically paid off. So we're going to have more payment there for the bond. So That's pretty much the explanation of the resolution, but again, it is just a reimbursement resolution. It's not authorized at this time. Shoot.
So that'll be in your packet. Al did a really good job because he basically just read it. It's in the packet.
Yeah.
It's pretty well done, so.
Well, Al is, I'd have to say, you know, we're very fortunate to have Al
Yes, we
over
are.
our fire system. And Mike and other, you know, really the other board members know. I guess when you get somebody like Al that's in charge of everything, it makes your job so much easier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
for
I,
the kind
you know,
words.
when I was on the board, I you know, yeah, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the board members as well.
Thank you.
You always got my vote.
Any other questions for Al?
Thank you.
Al, thank you. There's one other thing I want to bring up about the power system real quick. Dr. Tyler, thank you for what you do there. His term is going to expire next month. So next month we'll have an appointment there. The power system is going to write us a letter requesting that Dr. Tyler continue to remain on that board, just for everybody's information. Last thing I want to do is say thank you. All you got to do is cut on the TV and see the horror the other communities felt. And thank you to you and the whole, everybody in that staff that made this as successful as it was for everybody in this community.
And Mayor, I appreciate that, and I want to say that just thank you to the city, to Philip. I think we worked better this time than we ever have. David Smith, Ted Howe called me Sunday multiple times and Monday, what can we do to help? And that's
Means a lot.
it means a lot that somebody's got your back, and we appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all again.
All right, Katie, volunteer workday proposal.
It's on the board, everything positive.
This is something that we talked about at the strategic planning session. Angie and I rode around town last week through all of Mount Pleasant to try to see, just get eyes on what has the most litter, but also we took into consideration like the shoulders of the road and the safety of the people that would be volunteering in those areas. So I actually got to, I'm so glad I ran into Mayor White earlier because we got the chance to kind of run it down. So with that being said, I had to type it all out because I'm just not good with presentations, but we took into consideration the safety and all of that. And I figured that the first cleanup day is going to need to be in an area that is not heavy with traffic, or is like open field, not necessarily shoulders of the road. That way I can learn as I'm going and then make adjustments to what needs adjusting and not have to have so many risk factors at play, you know? So that being said, we thought that we were going to start around the schools and the fields and the senior center, and probably venture down to CB and Dollar General because there's a lot of trash in those storm drain areas. And so another thought I had was I don't know if y'all have been on the First Avenue exit. There's a lot of litter there, and it's still wide enough to where a few people could get there and clean that off without having to be so close between the road and like someone's property. And so we'll probably start there. I've talked to the school. As soon as I get your blessing, I'll need something in writing saying that this is an approved thing from the city for the schools to be able to give it to the seniors that need their volunteer hours for the Tennessee Promise. So there's deadlines. So for summer enrollment, I believe the deadline's April 1st for the Tennessee Promise hours. And for fall enrollment, it's August 1st. So my goal is to have those a couple of weeks before those deadlines for people who are just trying to get the last of their hours and need something local. And I was speaking with April from the library, and she's actually had a call this week with somebody looking to see where they can get volunteer hours for court-ordered volunteer work.
Community service.
That sparked I will probably contact Judge Bailey in between setting, the date and asking him to keep that in mind and maybe give him some flyers with my contacts. Yeah, go.
I was just saying, you can go to that Judge Bailey's office and just ask them to add us to their list where they can do their community hours.
Then that's perfect.
Yeah, you just have to be added to the list. That
Okay, and I have an email set up where I'm gonna have it where if anybody needs help like coordinating that, then they can email me and I can guide them through it. And I believe if I'm going, I'm not prepared for this. I'm also my husband's secretary, and he's kept me pretty busy this week. So this is just kind of put together as I've thought about things and safety. So we're gonna need vest, gloves, trash bags, grabbers, probably a first aid kit, and water. Some of those things Mayor White said that the sanitation department may be able to help us with. And I would also not be opposed to contacting the county for like the safety vest, because I know that they have road crews as well. I just wanted to let you know that these things have been considered. I don't have a lot to share on those things. It's just all of these are things that are going to be considered, and also waivers may need to be considered depending on Ms. Jones.
So are you proposing it like this would be a city program, or that it would be like y'all's program, or, a nonprofit program, or just a group program, and then the city would like basically sign off on hours or make donations and things like that?
Well, I'm going to need that information from y'all, because I believe that this was an idea that came up in that meeting.
It is.
And you were looking for volunteers, and we were in the room, and so it just worked out.
Got volunteered.
Yeah, so I'm open to both. I don't want to put any liability on the city, or I also don't want to be asking the city for money for things, because a lot of these things I think we can get donated through like industrial partners, especially if we're going to continue this program and we start cleaning up around their areas.
right.
Because people go out there and litter, they drink and throw their stuff out the road, and so it could be beneficial for everybody. I would like to see it keep going.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just gonna have to, I've never done this before, so I'm just kind of, this is raw.
You have to be careful that you're not liable. So.
Right. And that's, I now have, I have a personal attorney I can run that through, to make sure I'm covered and all of that.
Like you said, get waivers and stuff.
Yeah, and I'll draft up those and have people sign them as they volunteer. With this, maybe I was thinking about doing an online volunteering, and then the form would be in the mix of that, so.
Yeah, it might be something that you heard Caroline's presentation. It might be something that they could help organize donations and things like that too. And that they would have like a nonprofit cover for you. Because reason I'm looking crazy, trying to remember, we looked into something like this several years ago. And I do think there was a little bit of a liability concern if we were the ones.
We couldn't put it on for that
Yes.
reason.
And so that's why we looked at having, a nonprofit group do it. But I agree, like you don't want you to be responsible either. But maybe a group that's, okay.
Caroline's in the room now.
Yes, if you're open, I don't want to put any extra, I will do all the organizing. It's just the covering is really what.
Yeah, we should chat about that.
Yeah, I would love to. And so I'm open to all and any suggestions, ideas, and just anything, insights. Yes.
Yes, this here be a question to you and also Chief back there. I guess as this gets closer and you know exactly what you're gonna do, is there a way that we could provide, extra, police or whatever, overtime, just to.
Yeah, absolutely. We do that for events and things
Right.
all the time. I think I see where Corey's going, and I kind of like that nonprofit, and we support it, so we really wouldn't take much action here, right?
Right. And we would
Yeah.
always, like, any cleanup like this would definitely benefit the city.
Yeah.
So I think Philip could sign the forms, that the high schools require,
Okay.
that would be, it wouldn't have to be commission action.
No,
is
no.
what I'm thinking it'd be more like,
Yeah.
yes, it's the city right of way, so it's our property you're cleaning up. But look,
I think, and I think the guidance counselor was maybe something just saying that you have their blessing.
oh yes,
Yeah, and I think that would be
permission to do
great.
it,
Yeah. So, because I definitely understand that, because you have people's children that they don't know what's happening, and so I've left all my contact information on the stuff I passed out, and so you could reach out anytime. I've sent you the design ideas for the flyers. That's just kind of a sample of if there's any like if you would like that changed in any way, I'm cool with that. But yeah, I don't really need anything besides like a blessing and maybe I need to get with Caroline. And so we can, but other than that, my goal is to be resourceful, not a burden to taxpayer money. So,
Will you read your vision?
yes. I'll say that's on the back page. Says that this program has the potential to become an ongoing community initiative that improves the appearance and environmental health of Mount Pleasant, engages youth and residents in civic service, strengthens relationships between the city and the community, and builds long-term community pride. And those are very important, especially, and we have the ability, we have a small town. It's not, Nashville where everybody, or, New York where people like, oh, who cares? So people do care. And I'm going to start, it'll be later March, the first one, and maybe a small thing near a waterway on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. So now that you heard enough of my chatter.
Angie, can you stand up so they can see who you are?
Yeah,
She is a lovely lady.
these are the two ladies that during the strategic planning session that mentioned this, and then I kind of volunteered them.
I was like, I'm good with it though. I love the idea and I think it would be great for everybody.
It's great, and I want to comment on the vision. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Love it.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm better on paper than spoken word.
And
You got
I
a
will
good job.
volunteer to pick up all neglected garage sales, Christmas light signs, all that stuff. It drives me up the,
It's also election season, so we may need to
Yeah.
right after.
Yeah, no kidding.
ordinance.
That's a truth.
Signs have to
Find
be
a way to
removed
recycle.
after 2 weeks.
All right, any other questions, comments for Katie? Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Miss Lacy.
Mayor and Commissioner Corey, I don't anticipate anything being on the agenda for Tuesday, but we'll talk tomorrow to see. I think that was a good avenue.
Yeah, we can. This
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
Yeah, we can talk
because there's
about
other communities around here that do this. We can
Yeah.
learn from them.
Keep Murray beautiful and don't trash Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's right. Presentation barge wastewater treatment plant final change order.
So Matthew's not here. He may be Tuesday if you want him to come. So, because it's on the agenda at the bottom about the final change order or
Yeah.
final closeout, really. And I explained some of it tonight.
I'm good with him not coming.
I'm
You
good
know,
with
I
him not
mean,
coming.
Okay.
I mean, we know what the last thing is. We've talked a lot about it.
Yes, so I'm-
All right, H, we've already covered in,
Mhm.
C. Completion of review and unfinished business ordinance 2026-1139. Again, that will be a public hearing and a final reading. And this is the, final, amendment to our operating budget for July of 25 through June of 26.
We back up and got to add some things.
Yeah.
It's appointments. Remember, 2 more.
Oh, appointments.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Apologize for that. So there are 2 additional appointments that
Thank
we get
you,
on there
Bill.
tonight. One of them is for the Communications Committee. Miss Angie is coming off.
Yes.
And we're recommending,
Miss Murley.
thank you, Miss Murley and Chesky. I know I butchered
Look
that.
at her messing her name up.
I butchered your last name. Miss Murley has been recommended
Yes.
to replace on the Communication Board. The next thing, and I apologize it wasn't on there tonight, on the agenda will be the Housing Authority. Mr. Roy Bullock resigned from it, and there's a recommendation for Miss Brandy Pinkerton.
Pink.
And that, this all will be in your packets tomorrow.
And we received a letter, today. I guess it was hand delivered when I got here. It was in my box from the Housing Authority with a letter from them making that.
Yes, I have it. Sorry about that.
No, thank you. I just forgot it. Thank you, Phil. No, well, that's right. All right, go back to, completion review of unfinished business ordinance 2026-1139, and we've heard this a number of times. Anything you need to add to this before we get?
The budget amendment, there's gonna be some changes to it. We're kind of working through it. I don't know if we're gonna amend all the expenditures yet that we've had from the free. did spend quite a bit of money on generators and things like that. Probably talk more about it, and Philip's gonna have more for y'all, but we may not amend all of that because we have not paid all those invoices yet. They're still coming in and stuff. We're gonna amend that at year end, but there may be some changes. I'm working all through all of that, but I'll have final documents to y'all tomorrow so you can review over the week.
Hadn't thought about that, but we did have some expense related to that.
Mhm.
I plan on putting in my report to you guys, what we spent on generators and everything else.
But it was
so, you know.
well money spent,
Absolutely.
whether we needed it or not.
That's
You know, it was
exactly
there-
right.
It
We
was
need to
there,
go back
you
up,
know,
yes.
Period, wasn't it?
yes.
As far as it was way, like Al said earlier, it was way smoother. We were all prepared. We had our geos ready. Every department head did what they were supposed to do as far as expenditures go. They gave everything to Sonia, coded it correctly. So we do end up having any declarations from the emergency stuff that we have all of our expenditures in. To be able to submit to the states.
All right, any other questions? Monthly report from mayor, may or may not have anything, I don't know of anything right now. Monthly financial budget report, you'll have that for Tuesday night,
Yes,
Shipper.
sir.
City manager, anything tonight, Philip, or you gonna cover all that Tuesday?
Tuesday, unless you guys have any questions.
Yeah, any questions for Philip tonight?
Mm-mm.
Special reports from other departments, wastewater, we don't really have anything.
No, and we'll talk about it towards the end of the agenda.
Gas system,
Probably be the same report Tuesday night. Basically still in the process of the grants and getting those submitted for the project.
okay. New business, resolution 2026-7, Collier Engineering Pope Lane paving project.
Mayor and Commissioners, A and C are kind of related, but we'll talk about A now. So I have a proposal from Collier Engineering. One of the things I think we realize as a city with the Gray Lane is like we got a good base bid, but then that whole subgrade thing and that come back. So this proposal is gonna come in, they're gonna do the bid documents just like we do most of the time. Exactly what's gonna happen on that road, it's 1.5 miles. Estimated what it would be, and this is what they'll do when they come in and do it, so there's no surprises. Now, like anything, be surprises, but I think that's 5% of the project or whatever project it does. I think it's good money spent.
Yeah.
I got a surprise for you.
I'm sure.
You ain't gonna believe this. Anyway, I've had 2 people out on Pope Lane that asked not to have it paid.
I know who one of them was, because I had the same thing happen.
Because,
Because
Speedy.
Speedy, they say if it's repaid,
oh my gosh.
That's a
I got,
Are you serious?
I'm serious. So I just thought that, you know,
first.
Wow.
but I'm not gonna say who it is. Yeah. Yeah. that's
You're
me.
right. That's shocking.
got it last night.
That's shocking.
Resolution 2026-8, extended interfund loan related to downtown project.
Shipper.
I have contacted the comptroller's office on this one. We are gonna have a resolution on the agenda. We borrowed $1.05 million from the general fund in July of 2025. So we could cash flow the downtown project. We have returned 600,000 of it already because majority of the reimbursements finally came in towards the end of 2025. So in January, I was able to return it. As I get reimbursements, I'm able to slowly return the rest of it. We were hoping the project would be closed by now, but looks like right now it's going to be a spring close with all the landscaping stuff that they're doing. So we're getting very close to it. So I'm just asking the state for an extension on it. So the comptroller asked for a new resolution. The resolution will be for the difference of the amount, which is $450,000. But I'm asking them to extend it till the end of May or June. That way we give ourselves enough. Feed audits just
Sometimes slow.
still slow with the reimbursements. So.
Any questions on that? Resolution 2026-9, Collier Engineering paving projects.
Mayor and Commissioner, this is just on call. We already use them for the multimodal, but when I look back, we just had contracts with that particular grant and engineering. So we have the proposal for Pope Lane that we want to get started on because time's getting away from us, and this will just be an on-call proposal. We need them for anything outside of that. Just I guess just a master agreement on call if needed when it comes to that.
Any questions, Bill, on that one?
And there'll be, all this will be in your packet, and if you got any questions, just call me about it.
But I guess on call, is there a set limit or does there need to be a set limit?
Well, no, it's on,
I
they
mean,
got
I
the,
don't,
yeah, so they've got their prices in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, help me with this, Corey. Maybe if this is just like they are one of our engineers we can call. Or we can just take that off and leave it every time and bring this back in front of you, which I think.
I mean, I don't, only thing that's saying, I guess when somebody's on call, say, hey, yeah, I got this project, I need you to go fix it. Then after they go look at it, which I don't think they will, but I'm just saying, they come back and say, hey,
They would have to
Bill,
be
you owe us
authorized to do it.
$500.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would
no,
have to be
they would.
authorized to do it, and it would still be within like y'all's spending
Okay.
limit.
Cool.
Okay.
But I hadn't looked at that one yet. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'll
So the
answer that
first one
question.
was specific to
Right,
Pope Lane.
Pope Lane.
Yes. And then I plan on, like, through the budget process, whatever we're looking at next year, we'll have an agreement for all of those streets in the year, and that's what we'll oversee. The yearly street plan.
Which I will say, I appreciate what you're doing on that part right there, instead of, somebody starts the project and then they come back for change order, whatever you want to call it, and say, hey, it's gonna cost this. So I appreciate the route you're going.
I do too.
That would
Instead of
basically
getting
be
$40,000
just,
Yes.
bill
so
at the
you
end.
could do it quicker, not having to do a rebid. That's like your contractor for paving for the year. Is that the concept?
I think I look at it like, sort of like what we do with our planning services with
Yeah.
KCI, wheel hangers on call. We call them, we got a question. Of course, we're getting billed.
Yeah.
Barge, all those are the same thing. They have specific contracts related to projects, but also if something else pops up, we can use them and we have that agreement with them. It's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Like I say, I appreciate what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, resolution 2026-10, reimbursement power company bond issue. I think Al spoke very well to that.
Can't explain it any better. You
No, I
read-
can't either.
You had it memorized. Good job. man.
Any
It's good.
questions or comments on that one? We'll have 2024-25 audit approval. They will be here Tuesday night to present. So for everybody's information, it's gonna take a while. Any questions on that one?
In
I
their
can't believe
presentation or
Change order CDBG meter replacement engineering agreement. Margaret, meter replacement? What's got on here?
It's down at the lawn, or the,
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say.
That's all right.
I guess that's
It's
right.
spelled right. Laundry.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Mayor and Commissioners, F and G kind of
As
go
old as
together.
I am, still call it a wash of tears.
yeah.
F and G kind of go together, and if we really want to get in the weeds on it, Dale's here to come and talk about it. The first one, was the CDBG grant that we're trying to close out so we can apply for the next one. This is for the engineering agreement to the change order for that service line that goes under Main Street, and they're trying to replace. It's $11,000. It's okay. I'll kind of move into the next one.
Yes,
Before I come in here, Dale forwarded me the email for the construction part of it, and it is $88,000, and we were scratching our head. We want to look in that a little more. There are some contingencies. There's some contingencies in this CDBG, but I don't know if service line will cost $88,000.
So, hello, everybody.
Hello.
So when we uncovered that, it was going to be a simple meter replacement. When we uncovered that, it's an old galvanized line that's unknown. We don't know what kind of shape it's in. And the way it's put together years ago, it's unstable. So if we tinker with it, there's a chance it could cause a problem on the road, then we're in an emergency scenario. So what we want to do is we want to fix it right in a controlled environment versus a 17-hour through the night type scenario. So it's such a volatile unknown. That's what we're looking to do is a complete replacement.
This here is a water meter?
It's a service line,
Line.
and we're originally on the grant was to replace the water meter. But when we opened it up to replace the water meter, we found out the service line's kind of ticking time bomb, if you will. So we were afraid
So
to
there's
touch it.
nothing electrical to this.
Not to the service line. It'll be from the main across the highway. And that's the biggest expense because of everything you got to do to replace the highway just like it is. It'll have to be an open cut because we got to get that galvanized out.
I don't know, I probably shouldn't go down this road. If it saved us some money, could I our system help in any kind of way?
No,
I'm just saying,
This is water.
oh, I thought he said he had to do some power, but it's all
It's
water. It's nothing.
It's water
nothing
service, yes,
power.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay.
It's a 2-inch galvanized, and it is it's scary. So again, typically you have a set valve that you can operate. It has that, but it's on a slip coupling. So you take the meter out, and you have no way of accessing the shut off at the main. It could shoot off, and when you start tinkering with your wrenches and everything, it could crumble. We don't know. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to not cause an issue. And we identify, we have to replace galvanized in the future anyway. So we want to try to figure out a good way to do it right, and not have an emergency scenario.
Is this project needed soon, or is it something y'all can look at and?
it's a
Someone-
ticking time, but, yeah.
Well, I want to talk to Dale more about it in the morning because $88,000.
That's a lot of
We
money.
got contingencies for 59,000 with 10,000 match, so it lessens the burden. But $88,000. I also look like yes, ticking time bomb, but that area is part of this whole stormwater stuff. Like it's going to have to be redone anyway if we go down that road. How long is that going to be? I don't know, but we've got to move toward it. So I think we really look at it. You think it's high?
Yeah, yes, sir. I
Okay.
absolutely think it's high.
Yeah, you're my boss. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my boy, $88,000.
I just
No comment. I mean, January was a really long year, like we say every year in January. But that's rough.
Here's what I recommend is let's let Philip and
let's look at it. You just got
and
it.
Dale look at it and look, Dale's doing a great job with managing that, and he'll continue to do that. Let's figure out what we got first, because Philip's absolutely right. Part of this stormwater is going under that building right now,
Thank you, Dale.
literally.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you. At least I know it's not electrical.
Yeah, exactly.
But if Al wants to take it on,
Yeah.
How back it going?
Well, just tell him we do have one electrical wire going through.
How sitting there going, how like, no more.
All right, change order wastewater treatment plant closeout. We talked about that earlier. Anything to add to that, Philip?
So, Mayor Commissioners, this is the final closeout. This is a decrease of $231,000, which is the final change order on that. So it's all be in your packet. The original price was $12,700, but we come back and got a grant, and we went back to the bidded price and added all those things back. So it went back to 13.2 million, and then we've only had really 2 change orders since that. One was for 24 and one for 36. And then this last change order is decreasing it because of liquidated damages.
Oh,
Which-
good.
Well, basically going to barge because they still
Well,
been
with
building this.
we're getting that.
So
Yeah.
Matthew was great, and because it's been on many years and put a good timeline together for us. And I'll put it in your packet too. So call me if you have any questions about it. And then the last thing on there is related to the barge contract amendment, which is for their time, of course. And it's 28,000. Sorry.
It's like 20.
Yeah, it's like 20-something $1,000. It'll be in your packet. And that will close out this very long process.
Very good.
Don't know what I did with it.
Very good. All right. Comments from citizens. Katie, you got anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, based on the totally separate things. Katie Martin, 2067 Cherry Street. Monday, there was an overwhelming ammonia smell in the town. Everybody was kind of talking about it. It's not the first time that's happened, and I'm only concerned about it because I have a bronchitis, like issues with my lungs. And I was just wondering, and you can email me back with, I don't necessarily need a response, but is there any way that when those things happen with those industries, that there's a way that they can say what happened to make that? Because I've seen it whenever it rains, it happens, but this wasn't a day that I've ever seen it happen on, and it's not a time frame. It was about 6 p.m. I'm usually it's like 11 p.m. by the time you have that ammonia smell hit the town. And so just I know I just want to know what all can be done to try to get information about that out there. I've made comments to the EPA about it. They're not going to do anything, but I would just like to know like some answers just for like if I need to wear some type of mask around a certain time, or if they had a failure with their bag system that catches that, or whatever is going on. I would just think that a lot of us in the community would like to not speculate anymore on that and have some answers.
Mike,
But I'd just like to say one thing, 'cause that's something I was gonna say at the end of the.
Yeah.
I appreciate what Philip did, or I guess not, well, Philip's part of it. But also, they sent a letter, to the EPA. And hopefully that will do something. And I hate that this really happens. And maybe I'm on video or whatever, maybe somebody will hear this. There was an incident that happened once before. And our city manager called for them to come down and look, not Philip. But anyway, TAP representative beat them to the site. So, I don't know exactly what it takes to get TAP's attention. I really don't. And I wish somebody could tell me a way to get their attention. And it's just like I've said before, and I don't know, I've said it, and I probably shouldn't even say this right here. But I wished at some point that we would look at another place for our fire department. I really think about our employees out there. I really do, guys. I really do. And I think, who's to say, what it does to their health? And nobody may not know until 40 or 50 years down the road.
Right.
But I just think right now is a time, to at least, look at a different avenue for them, or a building or something. And hopefully, we could get something, help from the county. I don't know. But I do think about their safety out there a lot.
Katie, just for your information, there was a letter sent from the city to TDEC.
Thank you.
Monday, Tuesday,
One day this week.
one day early this week about the exact same thing.
That makes me feel 100% better about it. So,
And it has been an ongoing problem for some period of time. For those of you that have an issue with it, my first thing that I would encourage you to do, because there is an 800 hotline number that you can call and report that to
yes.
through the Tennessee Department of Economic Environment and Conservation. And they have already responded that they have received the letter.
Oh, good.
And I don't know, another thing, I don't know how they get by with it, but I know a lot of chemical companies, they have to report it
Themselves.
once it leaves their property line. If a little bit of smoke or whatever leaves their property line, they're supposed to report it.
And I know there's certain companies that follow it to like very
Yeah.
strict, and then there's some companies you kind of never hear anything from. And I'm glad that y'all did address that, because that's kind of
But
just a concern.
it's been addressed several times, I will say that.
But this time it's gonna be followed up.
Now, on a second note, as a communications committee person, if someone was on social media discussing it, as they already have been,
Yeah.
would it be okay if I said that y'all have reached out to TDEC about it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, we
got
have.
it.
I mean, it's-
Whoa, Corey.
No, yeah,
Oh.
it's fine. That's true. That's what happened.
Just
It
wanna make
is,
sure.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, we talked about it.
just to be clear though, like we don't regulate it.
Right.
All they can do
Yeah.
is like write a letter saying that.
It's just like an opinion, right?
Yeah, it's just,
Okay.
hey,
I'll have you
I didn't read the letter, nobody asked me, but,
I'm talking to you.
TDEC regulates air quality. So there's all kinds of TDEC laws about that. I'm sure they have a permit, and if they violated their permit, there's repercussions for that. I don't know how that exactly goes down, but Mount Pleasant didn't regulate it, but yes, definitely say what they just told you.
I would love to like put that out there to
Yeah.
give the
You-
community like an idea that it's not something y'all are just out here tolerating.
You might just wanna wait until Tuesday. I will have you the phone number for that Tuesday night.
Thank you. I appreciate
May
that.
I add to the conversation a little bit? I would just be very careful. What we do know, and I spent many years out there testing that air, NH3 or ammonia is in the air. We don't know where it's coming from, so I would be careful calling out names. We
Oh, yeah,
don't
never.
know that to be sure.
Could
We
be
know it's
many.
We know the
NH3 and it's in the
vicinity.
air, and it's
Okay.
ammonia.
Yes.
Well, we do know that that's the only thing about it, and I think that's sometimes I think that's how they get by, because they have another chemical plant out there.
So but it has been addressed, and I will have you a phone number.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was the only person we had sign up, so everybody have a great rest of the evening, and, go watch some Daytona.
There you go. Nah.